Namaste and hello. This is your Sanskrit instructor welcoming you back into lesson number 111. And in this lesson, we are going to learn about a different type of conjugation called the imperative mood. And in Sanskrit, that is pronounced as lot. The imperative mood is used in four conditions. So number one, to express a command or an advice. So go over there, go over here, do this. Go to work, go to school. That would be an example. Number two, to express a wish or prayer. Number three, to express a possibility or doubt. Or number four, with the negative ma, to express prohibition. So ma means do not in English. So don't smoke, don't walk over there, don't go here. That would be an example of using ma. And the way how we form the conjugation for the imperative mood is that you're using the formation of the base that follows the rule for the present tense for the first, fourth, sixth, and 10th conjugation like we've always been doing. And then you're adding your at the verbal base. In the imperative mood, you have different types of terminations. When you're adding your final it's dropped before terminations beginning with just like how we've always been doing it. Let's take a look at the new terminations. So you're going to be given terminations for both Atmanepadi and Parasmaipadi, the middle and active voice respectively. Let us start with Parasmaipadi first. Third person, singular, dual, and plural. So those endings are tu, tam, and untu. So you will want to drop the here that you usually add after the verbal base. And then for second person singular, look, there's nothing here. So what you have to do is you just make your verbal base, add and call it a day. It's as easy as that. And second person dual, you have tam, and second person plural, you have ta. First person singular, dual, and plural, you have ani, av, and ama. And now going on to the Atmanepadi, middle voice type verbs, we have for third person, singular, dual, and plural, we have tam, itam, and antam. Then we have swa, itam, and dvam for second person, singular, dual, and plural. And then for third person, singular, dual, and plural, we have ai, avahai, and amahai. So again, you see an here for third person plural. So you're going to want to drop that before adding a case ending because this termination begins with an already. But let's take a look at this table. So these termination endings start with vowels other than We have the in ani. We have the a in ani, we have the a in ava, we have the a in ama. Then we also have ai for first person singular, and a again. All the first persons, whether this is active or middle voice, starts with a vowel that ends, that is a vowel other than a. And for a second person dual and third person dual, we have our termination endings beginning with a long E. Now remember, when you're forming your conjugation, you have to do your verbal base, you have to add and then if you have a termination like these that begin with any vowel except what's going to happen? What's going to apply here is the vowel sandhi, which means that you may not always end up with these termination endings exactly. You might end up with the termination ending that starts with another vowel because of the vowel sandhi. So we will get better at this as we practice together how to conjugate these types of verbs in the imperative mood. So let's get started. So the examples that we're going to be using is bud and man. So budh means to know in Sanskrit, and man means to think, and we will be conjugating this in the imperative mood. So let us start with the parasmay example, the active voice example first. Budh. So budh means to know. In the first conjugation, it becomes bodh. Bodh plus a gives you bodha. And the vowel sandhi that we have to keep in mind, because of the ones that we circled, is the vowel sandhis with the long a. So a plus long a gives you a. So that's why you end up with third person singular, dual, and plural. We have bodhatu, bodhatam, and bodhantu. Second person singular, dual, and plural, we have bodha, bodhatam, and bodhata. First person singular, dual, and plural, we have bodhani, bodhava, and bodhama. And man in Sanskrit means to think. In the fourth conjugation, we have manya for the verbal base, manya, and then manya plus a gives you manya. And the vowel sandhis that we have to keep in mind are the ones that involve a, the long as, and the long e's when they're preceding an a. And those vowel sandhis are a plus long e gives you a plus I gives you I, and then a plus a gives you long a. So that is why instead of these termination endings, you end up with third person singular, dual, and plural, manyatam, manyetam, and manyantam. Second person singular, dual, and plural, you have manyaswa, manyetam, and manyadwam. And then third person singular, dual, and plural, we have manyai, manyavahai, and manyavahai. So as your instructor, if I wanted to give you all a command to say you all think, what I would want to use is manyadwam to speak to you guys and say manyadwam, you all think, or think if I'm talking to more than one of you. So that's how you would use the imperative case, the imperative mood. And now I want to go over a sandhi rule that we went over previously in lesson number 47 to 50. So that sandhi rule was as follows. When in the same word na is preceded by ri, ri, ra, or sha, and followed by a vowel, na, ma, ya, or va, that dental na is changed to a cerebral na. This rule also applies to the na in the ani termination for the first person singular tense, where the dental ni in ani could turn into arni. So here are some examples. So Sri, for example, means to remember. If I wanted to put this in the imperative case, I remember, I would want to say sararni, because as you can see here, the ni is preceded by the ra in sar after Sri becomes sar after taking gorna in the first conjugation. And remember, in this scenario, for this specific sandhi rule, the distance between the letters doesn't matter. As long as the ni is somewhere preceded by the ra, it can turn, and it's followed by a vowel, and it's followed by the short e in ani, it will turn into sararni instead of sarani. So the na is preceded by the ra in sar and followed by a vowel, and that is the e in ani. In this scenario too, chur in the 10th conjugation becomes choraya, and instead of having chorayani, you have chorayarni, because the na is preceded by the ra in choraya, and then it's followed by the i in ani. So that's why you have chorayarni, the dental na turns into the cerebral na. So these are the conditions for using the imperative mood. And these are the conditions how to conjugate a verb in the imperative mood. And this is your Sanskrit instructor signing off with a namaste.